Do you know why I have bored you to tears for 2.5, 3 weeks on this story? I said on day 2, I walked over to that wall because they were already calling me Chicken Little. And I pointed out those things, and I said, I am going to plant my flag on this, and I will fall on my sword if I have to. Everyone has said this program was crazy. I have never said what I have said in the last 2 weeks, which is this: I know I am right on this. I never said that. I've never said that before. I said, I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. But I've never said I know I'm right. Why? Because on this, I know the research that we have done for the last 2 years that has led to this moment. I know history. I know what history teaches us. And I know my gut. And I wanted you to see it. I wanted this to be branded on your head. I wanted you to be able to see it and know there was no one else telling you this stuff. Why? Why would I want to do that? Because I need you to question everything. Not only that I say, but everybody else. You are being manipulated. And there are powerful forces all around the world. These people didn't come out just because, hey, I think I'm coming. These people have been organized. I don't think this ends well for the people of Egypt. This is only the beginning of transformative change. This is the beginning. I told you on day number 1, you are witnessing the Archduke Ferdinand moment, which led to a transformative change called World War I. You are watching the beginning and the birth of the New World Order. And you want to call me crazy? Go to hell. Call me crazy all you want. The world is heading towards a different place. And don't be taken there unaware. If you want to go there, make the choice, an intelligent choice. But don't be led there, and don't you dare let your friends, when they get there, say, well, how did this happen? It was happening while you were asleep. Let me show you the incompetence that is our Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. Here he is on the oh-so-peaceful Muslim Brotherhood. Watch.
The term Muslim Brotherhood is an umbrella term for a variety of movements. Right. In the case of Egypt, a very heterogeneous group, largely secular, which has eschewed violence and has decried Al-Qaeda as a version of Islam. Right. They have pursued social ends, betterment of the political order in Egypt, etc. And then it's not a violent side I'm interested in. I'm interested in their nonviolent side, which I was talking about.
Social justice.
In other countries, there are also chapters or franchises of the Muslim Brotherhood, but there is no overarching agenda, particularly in pursuit of violence.
Save me, Lord. Please, take me now. Please, take me now. There'd be a lot of people in America that would love it. We're going to do it. Let's do it in a dramatic fashion, live on TV. Take me now, Jesus. My grandfather owned a farm. I remember being about this tall and going to the place where we would buy chicken feed for his chickens. Let me tell you something. I remember the people that we bought the chicken feed from. The people that are advising us, our national intelligence director, don't buy chicken feed from the man. I don't think he's qualified to work behind the counter of the feed store, let alone give us life and death analysis. And let me tell you something. If you don't think it's your life at stake, you are mistaken. It's not your life today. It's just the life of those people in Egypt and the lives of those in Israel. Oh, but it will be yours. We keep listening to this guy, and it will be yours. Here he is saying there's no evidence. They're peaceful. They're peaceful. Well, let me give you their spiritual and intellectual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, the 9th most influential Muslim on planet Earth. Here he is, in his own words.
في ختام كلمتي هذا أن يهيئ الله لي في ختام حياتي فرصة للذهاب إلى أرض الجهاد والمقاومة على كرسي متحرك فأطلق رصاصة على أعداء الله اليهود طوال التاريخ من يؤدبهم نتيجة إفسادهم. آخر تأديب كان تأديب هتلر، ما فعل بهم وإن كان مبالغوا في الأمر ما بلغوا، ولكن استطاع أن يعني يوقفهم عند حدودهم، وكان هذا أدبا إلهيا، تأديبا إلهيا، عقابا قدريا لهؤلاء. والمرة القادمة إن شاء الله ستكون على يمكن أن ترتقي الأمة إلا بهذا.
I suppose, stop it, I can't watch it anymore. I suppose that it was divine punishment if you're on the other side. Depends on who you call divine. Is this divine or is he divine? Depends on which side. But remember, the Muslim Brotherhood, that's just their spiritual and intellectual advisor. They eschew violence. They have. Let me play them side by side because this is your choice. Here he is. It's an umbrella term. Don't worry about it. They're fine. They're totally fine. This guy, God gives me the opportunity to come and even with a wheelchair, shoot the Jews. Let me ask you, America, because this is your choice. Which one do you believe? Mr. Bald Egghead, who doesn't have a clue? Or this guy? Now, let's say this. Oh, people would punish them for their corruption. The last punishment was carried out by Hitler. Which one's telling you the truth? Which one? Let me give you your options here. If you listen to these pinheads, and he's telling the truth, you're dead. Israel, dead. If he's telling the truth, and you trust him, you're dead. If he's lying and you trust him, you're fine. But he better be lying, or you're dead. Got it? It's just that easy. We went through this in 1999 where I said the same damn thing about Osama bin Laden. Well, if he's lying, he's just saying that. He's a politician. He's just trying to stir his own people up. Really? Tell that to the 3,000 people in the building. Tell it. Tell it now. Oh, I was wrong. Tell it to the Israelites. Tell it to the people that live in Israel. Tell it to the people, just like, what was that stupid 34-year-old psychiatrist who says, I know they have an agenda, but they like me. No, they do. Do they? Tell it to Daniel Pearl. I'm sorry, but I'm tired. I'm tired of it. And I know you are too. What will it take? Oh, it's an historic day. Some people think we're having a 1776 moment. No, we're having July 14th, 1789. That's the one that ended with the guillotines in France. They were both revolutions. Isn't it great? They're both calling for freedom. No! One ended with bloodshed and guillotines. There is a difference. More in a minute. Stepping down. Instead, he's going to hand some more of his power to his vice president. We don't even know what that means at this point, but you need to know who his vice president is, because it ain't going to get any better. KT McFarland is the Fox News national security analyst, and she has held positions for national security in the cabinet of Nixon, Ford, and Reagan. KT, how are you?
Oh, great, Glenn.
Tell me about the vice president, because he's not a good guy.
Well, this is
yeah. I just want to make sure it's Egypt.
Of Egypt.
Yes.
This is Omar Suleiman. Now, what you have to remember is Egypt isn't North Korea. This is not a cult of personality. Mubarak isn't Kim Jong-il. What Mubarak represents is a leadership group, part of the military, intelligence, Egyptian business, and Mubarak has been the face of this for the last 30 years. Now, with Mubarak leaving the stage, whenever this happens, it's still the same group remains in power. But the question now becomes not just what happens with Mubarak, frankly, or even with Suleiman. I think the bigger picture is what happens in this transition. You know, eventually Mubarak goes. Eventually Suleiman goes. He's not going to try to run for president himself.
Well, let me stop you here, because I think people need to understand who this guy is. This guy is not a good guy. He's the director of intelligence. This is like putting the head of the KGB, having Khrushchev step down and go, don't worry, everything's going to be good. I'm just going to put the head of the KGB into power. This is the guy, when Mubarak said, hey, I need to find out some information, he'd scoop him up off the streets, put him in torture chambers and torture. How does anyone think this is going to be good for the people at all? This makes it much worse, right?
But here's the thing. Suleiman has been good to us. He's cooperated with us in intelligence, but he's like Mubarak as far as what you're talking about, suppression of the people, you know, lack of economic or political opportunity. So yeah, he's Mubarak
I happen to, KT, I don't know, we've never talked about this, you and I, before, and I don't know how you feel about rendition, but I'm not opposed to look, we got a nuclear bomb that's going to go off, and we've got 40 minutes. I want Jack Bauer on the job. However,
Me too.
Rendition, if you're going to torture somebody or get information from them, do it yourself. Have the courage of your convictions. Do it yourself. Don't fly them on a ghost plane to Egypt and throw them in a basement and have somebody like these guys torture them. It's bad news. This guy was the head of the rendition program in Egypt for us. So when you say he was helping us, that's not really good, his kind of help.
Well, you know, it depends. You know, the Middle East, and we have now seen the freedom agenda of President Bush and, frankly, of President Obama. There were some good points there. This is a region where there have been autocratic dictators. They have suppressed their people economically and politically for decades, and those people are now rising up, from Tunisia to Egypt to Lebanon to Jordan. Who knows how far it extends? So to the extent that we're on the right side of history, by supporting their yearning for economic and political freedom, that's good. The question I have, though, is there going to be a power vacuum? If Mubarak leaves, if Suleiman is pushed out, where is the Egyptian military? Because in a vacuum, who's the most organized group in Egyptian society? The Muslim Brotherhood, the extremists, the giant. That's who you don't want in this situation.
Well, no, it seems like we're getting advice from the intelligent community now for President Obama that they're totally, I mean, they're going to serve apple crumb cake to everybody. KT, thank you very much. We're going to go to Israel next, and you know, you have to understand, this is Canada to us. How would we feel if this was happening in Canada or if this was happening in Mexico? If this were happening in Mexico, I could guarantee you somebody would have a camera and somebody would be doing their show from Texas. We'll do the next best thing. We'll go to the Texas to the Egypt, and that would be Israel next.